After his re-election 2 years ago, Iran's conservative President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad went through a power struggle with the country's more senior conservative politicians and clerics. Even though Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei and his aides ensured Mr. Ahmadinejad was declared the winner of the disputed 2009 election, they made clear the president did not have as much autonomy as he had thought. Analysts say the clerical establishment, at least for now, will likely allow the president to serve out his term in the interest of stability. But, says former British ambassador to Iran Richard Dalton, the mullahs will likely turn to a less fiery loyalist for the presidential election in 2013.
You will see somebody, I think, who is less populist in his approach, more of a conventional manager of economy and society, and somebody who is less bombastic, who makes less wide-sounding promises which then turn out to be unfulfillable.
But Dalton and other experts are quick to point out that Mr. Ahmadinejad's problems do not necessarily create an opening for reform in Iran.
The Iranian clerical, military, security and governmental apparatus have been dedicated now for some time to limiting not only reformism within the Iranian establishment, but also any street politics or dissenting politics outside it. So that trend remains firmly in place.
Security expert Metza Rahimi at the Janusian Group in London says observers in the West should not mistake Iran's political squabbling for weakness or as an opening for reform from the streets.
Iran kind of had its moment a couple of years ago, and I think if we were to see it happening, we would have seen it happen already, at least at some point this year. The Iranian government has had the experience of controlling mass unrest, certainly, and there was not going to be a big surprise like there was in Tunisia and Egypt.
She says many of the Green Movement's young supporters have shown signs in recent months that they're giving up hope of dramatic political change.
A lot of the youth in Iran, having had this moment in 2009, I feel are almost tired of the effort they were putting in trying to drive change from the streets, and many Iranian youth, if they can, are starting to leave the country as opposed to try and change the country.
Although Iranians sought reform years before their Arab neighbors, former Ambassador Dalton says the successful uprisings in Tunisia and Egypt may have an inspirational impact on Iran's so far unsuccessful protesters.
I believe there are many in Iran who are saying the Tunisians could do it, the Egyptians could do it, why couldn't we in 2009? Why shouldn't we try again in the future? There's ashes there that are still warm, and you can't rule out it bursting into flame at some point in the future.
Dalton says that possibility becomes more likely if Iran's economy takes a turn for the worse. But he says if the price of oil remains high as expected, a resumption of mass protests in Iran's streets is at best a rather theoretical scenario. Pessin, VOA News, London.